When I was in 7th or 8th grade, Club Penguin was all the rage. My friends and I all enjoyed going online at the same time every day after school and playing together. It was a simple concept, really. It involved earning coins, playing games, decorating our virtual igloos, and sometimes messaging with other users. One day I sat down at my computer and pulled up Club Penguin to play for a while before starting my homework. I checked the usual virtual places my friends and I would hang out on the site, but quickly realized they hadn't logged in yet. I decided I would play a few games to pass the time until my friends joined in. But just before I clicked to open a game, I got a message from another user. Most of the time, I would just chat with my friends while playing, and I didn't recognize this person's username, but I decided to open the message anyway. The conversation started as small talk regarding aspects of the game, but then started to get a little weird. The person wanted to know how old I was, what my social media pages were, and what I looked like. It's a strict rule in Club Penguin not to give out your personal information to anyone else on the site for your own protection. That's why my username had nothing in it that would give anything away about me, and my full name wasn't anywhere on my account that anyone could see. I had a bad feeling about the person who was messaging me, so I ended up blocking him and playing for another hour or so before eventually logging off for the day. I went to my room and got started on my homework. About 30 minutes or so had gone by when I got a text message from a number I didn't recognize. I figured it was just spam, but I opened it up anyway. My blood went cold as soon as I read the message. There was only 5 words, but it was enough to send a shiver down my spine. It read, "Why did you block me?" I knew instantly it had to have been the guy from Club Penguin. I had not blocked anyone else anytime recently. I decided to pretend not to know and texted back, "Who is this?" The reply came a short time later. It read, "You know who this is, Cassandra." Even though I usually go by Cass, Cassandra is my full name. The fact that the person had somehow found this out scared me to my core. I didn't respond for the rest of the evening. I was just about to go to bed when I heard my phone vibrate, causing me to feel on edge. I picked up the phone and sadly saw it was the same unknown number as before. This time, a picture had been sent with no text. I clicked on it, horrified by what I saw. It was a photo of the outside of my school. It didn't look like any photo that could have been found online, but rather one that had been taken in person. I ended up telling my parents everything that had gone on, and they filed a police report. They traced the phone number to a middle-aged man who lived in a few cities over. He later faced a slew of charges, one of which was related to sending inappropriate text messages and pictures to underage girls. I am relieved to know that he is now behind bars. I'm a female gamer, so I have come across plenty of creeps in my day. But there is one story from back in high school that outdoes every creeper encounter I think I've experienced. I was a big fan of Modern Warfare, and there was a group of about 4 or 5 people I would play with on an almost daily basis. 3 of them were real-life friends of mine who went to my school, but a couple of others were just online friends who I never met. One of these people that I played with but didn't know in real life was a guy who I'll call Craig. Craig claimed to be in his early 20s, but just from his voice and the way he talked, I kind of got the feeling that he was older than that. Whatever, it didn't really matter to me as long as he was fun to game with. Things started out great and our group was a great team. But as time went on, things started to get a little bit weird with Craig. He would try to get me to do private game sessions without the rest of the group, would send me private messages, and ask me how my day was going. And sometimes would even refuse to take part in a game if I wasn't also playing. This wasn't just something I noticed. The rest of the group did as well, and we all thought it was kind of strange. It almost felt like Craig was trying to isolate me from the rest of the group. I didn't approach him about it, but I did try to put some distance between the two of us. I would take a long time to answer his messages if I even replied at all, and I denied any of his requests to take part in a private gaming session. As time progressed, Craig became even more frustrated and desperate until he finally spilled his guts to me in a private message. He claimed he thought that he was in love with me and that not being with me was killing him inside, even causing him to experience a deep depression. I questioned how he could feel this way. After all, he hadn't even seen a picture of me before. But he claimed he didn't care what I looked like and just wanted to be with me. His message became borderline obsessive, and I started to get pretty creeped out, so I blocked him. I was a fool to think blocking him through the same system would ever be enough to stop Craig. He was incredibly internet savvy. Somehow, through the limited information I had told the group about myself, he managed to find out my full name and track me down on every social media platform, even ones such as Pinterest and Reddit, where I didn't even have any followers. I would block him on one platform, only for him to add me on another one. He sent hundreds of messages through these social media platforms and confessed his love for me in each one. Just when I thought I had Craig blocked on everything, he managed to get my phone number. The texts and calls were constant. It didn't matter if I blocked one number, he would just call me from a different one. It got to the point that I would only answer my phone if I had the number already entered into my contacts. Finally, I decided enough was enough, and I filed a police report. The police tracked the messages from Craig to a man who lives in Tennessee. Not only was he not in his early 20s, but he was middle-aged, married, and had 2 kids. His wife had no idea what he was doing behind her back. I ultimately got a restraining order and thankfully have not heard a peep from Craig ever since. When I was in high school, one of my closest friends, Samantha, and I would often play Minecraft together as a way to distress. There were these 2 guys in particular that we would play with pretty frequently. We only knew them by their first names, Connor and Riley. We would often message each other through the in-game text feature. Between the 4 of us, we had a great time. There was a lot of playful teasing and lighthearted banter. It seemed like the perfect gaming group to be in. Samantha and I had never met Connor or Riley in person, but as time went on, it felt like we had been friends with them for years. We spent so much time together playing and chatting, and we knew a lot about each other's lives. It felt like we were more than gaming partners, but actual real-life friends. We would always let each other know when we were going through something difficult in our lives, even as small as an upcoming math test we were worrying about. Sometimes we would chat about different entertainment-related topics like popular new movies or our favorite television shows. We ended up sharing each other's numbers and starting a group text that we would often communicate in. One day, the guys texted us saying that they were going to be only about an hour away from me and Samantha's city the following week. They were in town to visit a friend and thought this would be the perfect opportunity for us to all meet each other. Naturally, Samantha and I were ecstatic and totally on board. I know to some people it might seem crazy to feel comfortable meeting up with people we had only known through the internet, but it wasn't like that to us. We felt so close to Connor and Riley, and the fact that we would even have the chance to meet them in real life was like a dream come true. They told us that they were going to be having a party at their friend's house that Saturday around 8 p.m. and passed the address on to us. We told them that we would be sure to be there. When Saturday night rolled around, I told my parents I would be spending the night at Samantha's, and she told her parents that she would be spending the night at my house. Around 8 p.m., we set off in my car to the location we had been given. I started to get a bad vibe when the GPS guided us to a trailer park. I have nothing against trailer homes, but the guys had described a totally different scene to us. It was supposedly a large house with a pool and a bonfire out back. Samantha texted them to tell them that we thought we might be at the wrong place, but both guys responded telling us to keep following the GPS and we would end up at the right spot without any problem. We did as we were told and ended up in the parking lot of a dilapidated trailer home. We were both too scared to go in and at this point had a suspicious feeling about the whole situation. Just as Samantha was calling the guys to verify we were at the right place, 2 scary middle-aged men ran out of the trailer home and made a beeline towards our vehicle. We both screamed out loud and I began to back out of the driveway as quickly as possible. The men followed us for a good distance until we were finally able to lose them when we hit the highway. I ended up telling my parents everything and they filed a police report, but the men were never found. Samantha and I blocked both of the guys online and luckily haven't heard from them since.